Welcome to Ingrid's Inspirational Hour. My name is Ingrid, and I'm the producer of this show. The things you will hear over the next hour represent the views of Ingrid's Inspirational Hour and the people making them. All opinions and quotations in no way represent River West Radio and are the sole responsibility of the producer, guests, and callers. River West Radio is not liable for any legal issues arising from the content of this program. Happy Friday, everyone. Today is June 22nd, 2012. Today, the weather got up to 74 degrees with a few clouds. Tomorrow will be 79 with a few possible showers. The quote of the day: I love those who can smile in trouble, who can gather strength from distress, and grow brave by reflection. 'Tis the business of little minds to shrink, but they whose heart is firm and whose conscience approves their conduct will pursue their principles unto death. That is Leonardo da Vinci. Today's topic, we will be discussing anxiety and depression. I received this information from psychologytoday.com and wikipedia.com. So if there's any questions, I am no expert at all. I am just relaying some information about this topic. Actually, 60 to 70% of those with depression also have anxiety, so that's why I put the two together, because they actually go right hand in hand. Anxiety creates feelings of fear, worry, uneasiness, and dread. It's also considered to be a normal reaction to stress. So being anxious is a normal thing to have, but when the anxiety becomes excessive, it may be some type of disorder. Anxiety can come out as phobias, compulsive disorders, like obsessive compulsive, post-traumatic stress disorder, and social anxiety. Some of the physical effects are muscle weakness, nausea, shortness of breath, headache, stomach ache, tension headaches. Wow, this sounds great. Actually, I suffer from anxiety and depression, so that's why I thought this topic would be interesting to bring up. I believe that there's a lot of people out there that are suffering from this and they are undiagnosed. And also there's people who are diagnosed that keeps it all to themselves when, I think it would just be easier to have it out in the open, like, well, I have post-traumatic stress disorder. You don't have to say why, but it'll be easier, in my opinion, for each other to understand each other better once you know what the problem is. Also, you can have heart palpitations. That happens with panic attacks. Panic attacks aren't experienced by each person with anxiety, but it is very common. Actually, panic attacks come without warning. It affects 40 million Americans, and some of the symptoms are being irritable, edgy, trembling, sweaty, and having trouble sleeping. I thought I would share a story about having a panic attack. Hopefully I won't have one talking about it. That was a joke. Last December, I went to Boston, Massachusetts, and I planned out the trip, I think 2 months in advance, and had everything lined up. So I thought, well, while on the trip, something really dramatic happened where I couldn't use my ATM card. I had to call my bank and correct something that happened online, which took the amount that I was being charged 4 times. So it took all the savings I had for my trip. I didn't have anywhere to stay because I couldn't afford to stay anywhere. I just freaked out. I was driving down the highway and I had the heart palpitations. I had the sweaty hands. It felt like I was going to die. So I actually pulled over and, just let time set out. Well, it was really hard to deal with, so I'm not taking any medication for anything, but right at that point, I felt like I needed a Valium or something to just relax myself. But yeah, that was pretty traumatic. Anybody with any stories out there that they would like to share, you can give us a call at 414-935-2951. The lines are open. So, with depression, there's two groups of depression. There's MDD, which is the major depressive disorder, and then there's bipolar disorder. And there's so many different shades of this disorder, so, you know, I'm just being very general when speaking because there's so many different I've learned so much about depression recently, and there's a lot of gray areas in depression. But what we'll discuss today will be MDD, which is major depression, and bipolar disorder. When you are diagnosed with clinical depression, you have one or more major depressive episodes. Those episodes can be being sad most of the time, having headaches, just feeling down in the dumps. Every day you just lose interest in activities that you would do. Actually, there's some people that lose interest in sex. People would get a feeling like nothing matters anymore. You just wouldn't care. You would be withdrawn from your friends. A loss or gain in weight, so a change in your weight, insomnia, being suicidal, and a lack of concentration. Also, right here, I'd like to point out if anyone out there ever felt suicidal or they wanted to talk to someone, the suicide hotline is 1-800-273-8255. And if you're locally in Wisconsin, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, the crisis line is 414-257-7222. With bipolar disorder, the second group now, it's a manic depressive state. There's alternating periods of mania. Sorry, I think it's mania and depression. And 1% of the adult population is considered bipolar. Getting back to all those different grades of depression, there's bipolar 1, bipolar 2, and not otherwise specified. So I find it amazing that doctors can figure out how the brain is malfunctioning and then put a label on it. One or more manic episodes would be considered the bipolar 1. If it's intermittent and a hypomanic state, or you have depressive episodes more often, that would be the bipolar 2. And not otherwise specified could have a blend of all of the above. So I just find it really interesting that people could have this. So I also have depression. I can tell you I probably had depression most of my life, and it was undiagnosed. So now instead of taking, I know that there's medications that you can take. I go to counseling. I think that just works better for me. But I do know of people who are bipolar and who are depressed, and they take, I don't even want to put the label out there, but they do take some type of medication to help them, and it works for them. But I just chose not to do that. Um, I felt like I could make it on my own, and I've been doing really well. I've been in counseling consistently for, I would say, over a year. And what happens, and this is what I've learned from experience. This is just my personal experience, but um, once you get out of the depressive state, your anxiety actually increases. So I have more bouts of being anxious than being depressed. So hopefully it'll get to the point where that won't be an issue at all. But when there's things I need to do, I do have some type of anxiety or panic attack. Um, Shannon, have you ever had one?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
You
I'm
know,
listening to the symptoms. Some of them sound familiar.
so you never been diagnosed with it?
No.
No. Well, if you ever have, I think it would, you know, I think labels are. What's that?
Oh, I was saying, doesn't Ingrid look good?
Oh, thank you.
Ingrid looks awesome.
Don't talk about me while I'm on the air. Blush, blush.
He said you
Well,
look good, girl.
he said I look good today.
Yes,
Well,
he did.
hot diggity dog. I'm not getting on the camera though.
All right now.
Okay, so the funny thing about being diagnosed with depression, um, anyone that knows me know that I'm pretty much a happy, bubbly, cheerful person most of the time. But I have had, um, last year was pretty hard. I had, in October, I had a bit of a meltdown and I was suicidal. And I actually reached out to people. I told people that I was depressed and I was upset. And honestly, I didn't get a lot of positive feedback from it. I felt like I was alone. I felt like nobody wanted to waste time to hear about, you know, a little bit of a pity party or a woe is me. I don't know what it was.
So you got negative feedback?
Yeah, I got negative feedback, or I didn't feel like at the moment, at that time, I didn't feel like anyone cared. But that's how depressed people feel, you know? So uh, I told my doctor that I was suicidal, and they wanted me to go on a medication right away. And I said, you know what? That's not going to fix the problem or how I'm feeling right at this moment.
Without any kind of evaluation or
Right. It
anything?
takes weeks to kick into your system. So I just said, no, I don't want to take a medication. And then I started counseling. And I could say that I've have so much more of a positive attitude about things right now.
That's good.
Um, and it was just because there was somebody on the outside, who wasn't a family member, who wasn't a friend I've known for 12, 13 years, um, who I could tell everything to, and they're not judging me. So in my opinion, would be I would suggest counseling to anyone out there who feels like they might be depressed.
That works for you, but I don't know. It depends on the severity of what you're going through. Because some people probably not. When I worked in the social services field,
Uh-huh.
um, a lot of people needed both. They needed um, they needed to go every week for therapy, counseling, whatever, and then maybe some medication as well. But I don't know. I guess it would depend on how severe and combination of what. Because I know with the anxiety and depression, sometimes I have the bipolar or the
Mhm.
um, schizophrenia.
Mhm.
So that worked for you. Really, it's about diagnosis and really trying to get a study and taking a study of the behavior and stuff instead of just. It sounds like from what you were saying, they just shove medication right away. That was the
Yeah,
first
I
answer, and that's not always the resolution. We're gonna hear that later.
What?
The Trump. Oh yeah, and the moped.
I can't hear myself. Hello.
That's not good.
I can't hear myself at all. Okay, I'll fix it. You keep talking for 1 second.
Well, I was just saying it depends on. It's not always a medication situation, and I think that people go. Not only do people go misdiagnosed, they go undiagnosed, but I think more importantly, misdiagnosed. I'm not sure which is more important, but my whole point was it's not always. I like more of the alternatives, and the medication will be the last. But depending on the severity of the depression and the anxiety, might need a combination of both. But it seems like now it's all about write a script,
Right.
medicate. Um, I can go. No, I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, everything doesn't require medication. Um, I won't talk about medication, dumbing down the masses with it, but
If that's how you feel, say it.
they do a lot of it now, and it's easy to write scripts. And I don't know what the doctor's cut is per script that he writes, but some of them write scripts very freely and multiple and too much, and that's why we're having. I guess we're getting a little bit off subject, but that's why we're having so many deaths and stuff with mixes of medication, because the doctors are just giving it out. You have to be careful about what kind of doctor you have, and any medication you need to make sure that it's gonna work with the other. So
Right.
medication is just not always the answer. That's the bottom line. And so let's not always run to that. You don't have to. But if you need it, please get it. Please take it.
I believe that mental health is very frowned upon. It's the last straw. You know, when it comes to people seeking help, you hear about the veteran, trying to get help.
PTSD.
Right.
Okay.
So, and then how are you going to go back into the work field with such a
But it's not. It's. I guess it's made to look like a stigma or something. But at the same time, there's so many diagnoses of that now, and so many scripts being wrote for medications for that. So at the same time, how can it be shunned upon?
right?
I don't know.
Well, other than medication, how do you feel somebody should take care of it if they're depressed?
It depends on the severity of this. You see a lot of different medications. I guess my thing with the medication is that's what I was saying before. It should probably be in association with some therapy or some counseling, some self-images classes, even a class on a really in-depth class with some kind of studies and movies and stuff on depression, so you see yourself going off into this, and this is what I need to try to do.
Mm-hmm.
In order to be education, I guess, information.
Right.
Yeah.
And I saw that there's some people that still get the electroshock therapy. It's not as invasive as it used to be, but there's people that still get that.
So let me get this right. You're gonna electrocute me so I won't be depressed.
They say a certain part of the brain it responds to in some people. I saw a documentary on it, and a lady had 9 different episodes where she got shocked, and she saw no changes. So I don't believe I would go that far. I think I would try medication before that.
Yeah, I can't get into electrocutions. That sounds a little drastic, but I know.
Is that covered by insurance?
Wow.
you know?
It depends. What if your medical history? I would guess.
Right.
And if you're a resident at the, you know what I mean? Maybe so.
Right. But yeah, when it comes to, I'm just not for medication. But like I said, there are a few people that I know that they said that it works for them. So I'm not knocking it.
Right.
But I just didn't want to be chemically altered. You know, the side effects. I didn't want the side effects to affect me.
Right.
So for one person, it might be fine.
I noticed that people become dependent, and I know I told you about this recently where a young lady, she was my neighbor. She turned to me and she told me that she needed her Ritalin. It was interesting to me that she said she needed it though.
Needed it.
Needed it.
Hmm.
So I don't know. You need. I think she needed something though, definitely. But maybe it could have been. Um, Maybe she can be helped with just counseling instead of Ritalin. I think she needs a combination of both though. She might be one of those more severe cases.
That's your opinion. You said a little counseling and a little medication.
And a little growing up. She is still a baby. You have to say that
Right.
too. So, but yeah, just the whole aspect of people thinking that they need it, and when maybe in actuality some people don't quote unquote need it at all. But I'm sure there's some that do.
Well, when I was really down and depressed, I didn't know what could help. But at that moment, I don't feel like a pill could help you. You know, because even people who are on medication still get depressed
Yeah.
and they still get suicidal.
There's no such thing as a happy pill.
I don't believe that. So,
Mhm.
um, I just took the route of counseling because I didn't want to have a dependency. And then I read onto some medications you have to wean yourself from it.
Right.
I didn't want that.
Right.
You know,
And
I
sometimes
weaned
too,
myself from cigarettes. That was enough.
you have to work from within. My mother suffers from depression, and I don't know exactly what they, you know, like the counseling and stuff, but I noticed, her picking up some other things like classes, and she got pets, new pets,
Hmm.
things like that. And so you gotta try something, but you need to be educated, I guess, on the subject to know that and be properly diagnosed.
Right. The worst thing I think would be is to have a wrong mental diagnosis. You know, some like I said, there's so many different gray areas, especially if somebody got diagnosed with major depression when they're bipolar. You know, I know there's many tests to take, but I mean it's just another human being making a decision. So
I guess my question for that is like how many different medication combinations of dangerous, medicine with those two, because usually when they diagnose with the different disorders and stuff, it's always a medication to match right away.
hmm.
So, but like I was saying before about the combinations of medications being very dangerous now, a lot of people, a lot of famous people, people we know,
Hmm.
it's happening all the time.
Yeah, I don't believe in the pills. I believe in holistic, natural medicine. I'm actually going to start yoga soon, and we do water aerobics, which is
Yay!
good.
Gotta work out.
Right? And then I'm actually looking forward to starting this hip hop dance class. I met these two ladies that run that while I was out for a walk, so I'm looking forward to that.
That should be fun.
And also tonight, we're going to be at the Dominion Gallery,
Yes, the Dominion Gallery on.
804 East Wright. It's my very first gallery show. I'm one of the featured artists there. Please join us at 7 o'clock. There will be cocktails and all types of drinks. Hey, shout out to my mom. I do believe she's listening today. I know Clarissa is out
Hi,
there.
Clarissa. Hi, Mama.
Aloha. Shout out to Jessica for being on the show. Anybody, one of my friends or a listener out there would like to call us at 414-935-2951.
And if you're not calling, you need to be on your way.
Right. You need to be on the way because tonight's the party night. I'm looking forward to that.
Friday. That's become like a ritual now with us on Friday after we leave here.
Cocktails.
Yeah, usually. And luckily, it's not 100 degrees like it was 2 days ago. So we'll be indulging in some beverages, spirits.
Some wine, some spirits, all types of stuff. Some ghosts and goblins.
At the Dominion Gallery at Ingrid's. She's a featured artist at the Dominion Gallery, and Showing us tonight at 7. And what's the address again?
It's 804 East Wright Street.
All right. Ingrid wants to pop a bottle at the gallery tonight.
I'm looking forward to that.
She's a bottle popper.
I am. Okay, I'm looking for some interesting stuff in here.
I know what's interesting. I just seen a schedule for the lineup for Summerfest, and it doesn't have the Foo Fighters on it, and it doesn't have Anthony Hamilton on it. I thought that was rather interesting.
Oh no, they're coming.
Oh, I know they are. Because we both have tickets for these concerts. However, in this, I guess maybe that came out early or something. I don't know, but it's lacking. Yeah, that one.
Okay. I was about to say no. I'm going to Foo Fighters.
And I'm going. We got Anthony Hamilton. I'm going with my mother and my aunt. I love Anthony, so it should be fun. And I know that we have those tickets already, so I know they're coming, but they're not in there.
Wow, that's too bad.
Yeah, too bad for them. We got our tickets. Sorry. Go to the site. Don't
Are you
look
guys
at
taking a
the.
break?
What's that?
Here, can we take a break? Like 2 seconds? I
Okay.
gotta tell you something because it's.
Hello.
Okay, that was some fun technical difficulties. But
Am I
we're back.
on?
Is this thing on?
Ingrid, if
Turn
you
my
ever
mic
can't
up.
hear yourself, just come tell me right away.
Okay. Thank you.
Turn my mic up, yo.
Turn my headphones up. All right,
All right.
thanks. So, getting back to
Our topic.
anxiety. Yeah.
Depression.
Yeah. Have you ever had a bout of anxiety?
I'd have to say probably regularly.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what type of anxiety do you have? I'll tell you what kind I have.
Sometimes I spend time up and I can't rest, I can't sleep because I'm compiling a list, like a to-do list.
In your mind?
Yes. Constantly. Sometimes to the point where I need maybe something,
Like a break?
a break, a Tylenol PM every now and then. Different kind of medication, not
You're
good.
your own doctor.
Hey, different kind of medication, not good. You have to force yourself to sleep, otherwise I will not operate properly all day. But yeah.
So basically, that's one of the traits is worry, uneasiness, and they say dread. I wonder, that must be like the end of the world is coming. Everything's
wow.
horrible. You know. Nothing will ever work out right. I think that's what dread means in that
Some of
context.
those symptoms just sound like what we would call a drama queen, though. Some of those symptoms just sound like what we would call a drama queen.
But did you know that there's counseling for people with drama? I just found this out recently.
And what is that called?
It's drama counseling.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So people, there's actually a sickness. Let's say, we're friends, and then I call up another person who's your friend, and kick it up talking about you. There's actually people who seek counseling for being that way.
They can call it that, but
Yeah, I think it's attention seeking.
I call
too.
it messy.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So
We'll leave the other words off, the other adjectives.
boo. But yeah, the people with there, it's called drama something or other. But yeah, I would
Drama queen class.
action. So yeah, so some of the physical effects are the muscle weakness, tachycardia, which is your heart racing. When I was in Boston, my jaw was so tight I couldn't even close my mouth. So I was like clenching for so long and grinding my teeth.
Didn't that cause soreness though?
Oh yeah. Even talking about it kind of kicks up those feelings when
I can understand you being having a bout of anxiety at that time because you're really far from home and you don't even know what you're gonna do. You don't know where you're gonna stay.
right.
I would have been having a little. I would have to pull over. And,
But yeah, but the money was coming back, but it wasn't for like another 8 to 12 hours.
that leaves a long amount of time where you have to be in a new place with no money. You can't even buy whatever.
Right.
You
So
know, you can't-
I wasn't as much scared as much it was the worry, and then
Right.
it just kept increasing. So yeah, I had to call someone, and she actually helped me and walked me through, actually had me thinking again because I was just so caught up in it. I was in the airport just crying uncontrollably. That never has happened to me before. And I know people out there that know me are like, wow, she didn't tell me that happened to her. So
If you had some kind of heart disease or something with that, I can see how that combination can be fatal, very dangerous, if not fatal.
right.
'Cause you could have that while you're driving and
Or like a stroke or
right.
yeah, thank God my blood pressure's normal because
Yay.
when you're going through that, yeah, your blood pressure goes through the roof. So yeah, I would like to try yoga. I do believe that'll help me with the calming. I've meditated probably twice where it actually worked. Before that, it was just learning how to breathe, and you're supposed to listen to your breath. So
A new thing that I do now. Actually, I did it earlier today, and I have my mental list. I'm going down the list, and I'm kind of anxious, but just to slow down. Maybe earlier I did it after my shower and everything, but I just kind of laid back, had a cucumber. I'm going through this whole thing where I don't like to. I'm really. I don't know how you want to say. I don't know if you want to say I'm frugal, but I'm finding a lot of natural remedies and
yeah,
stuff that you can do, And so now my latest thing is like before I throw something away, like something that's going bad or something in the refrigerator, I'll see what I can do with it as far as health and beauty.
oh okay,
And
like
so-
make a cucumber facial.
And
or...
that's exactly what I did today. And I just
Wow.
laid back. It was really quick, though. It was like 12 minutes or something.
So how did you
But-
make it?
I just did the cucumbers on the eyes, though.
Okay.
Okay. But you can do, like if you have, even like the shea butter and cucumber or something. Cucumbers is supposed to be an aphrodisiac and a calmer anyway.
Well,
so.
I need 2 of those.
Well, yeah, some of the, you can always do a mini spa, that kind of thing. But it was just something quick. It was something I felt like I needed because you kind of slow down. You close your eyes, you're not looking at anything.
So you were just relaxing, enjoying that. Okay.
And reaping the benefits of whatever it is in the cucumber that does whatever it's supposed to do for your eyes. Yeah.
Okay. I have to try that one day.
But just closing your eyes, though, and really just laying back and putting your feet up. Yeah. It's wonderful.
Yes, and panic attacks can feel horrible. It can make you feel like you're dying. because your chest gets tight, you know.
I don't
I
know if
wouldn't
I ever
wish it on
experienced
anyone.
that.
I really wouldn't wish it on anyone. And I try not to let my anxiety prevent me from doing things, but I know it has, you know. There used to be a time when I wouldn't like leaving the house because I would go, oh, well, what if this happens? Well, what if that happens? Well, what if the sky falls? You know?
Wow. You have to leave the house.
Yeah. But
Well,
I
you
mean, I used to be that bad where I had a problem leaving my home.
unfortunately now though, in our day and age, you can be at home and something happen.
Oh,
So
wow. That's true.
I understand
I
what
thought
you're
you were going to
saying though.
say in this day and age, people don't have to leave their homes.
Oh, to get messed up? No, they don't. You can get messed up,
No,
right?
just in general, they could get everything delivered to their house,
Oh,
groceries and
I would not condone or promote being a hermit. No.
I'm a partial
You
hermit.
need
I'm a
to.
semi hermit.
No, because you come outside with
No,
the.
people make me come outside. If
No.
if I could have my way, I would stay indoors as
No.
much as
I
possible.
got
I'm just
one. I
telling
got
you.
one word, one reason why you can't stay inside. Do I have to say it?
What, Hawaii?
No.
What?
Hercules.
Well,
And so you have to come out, and you are not
I'm
vitamin
not a
D
I'm not a
deficient.
I'm not an indoor.
You're not vitamin D deficient. So
Well, we'll see.
not until the snow falls anyway. No, there might be something different.
I'm thinking about Atlanta. We should go to
That
Atlanta
sounds really
soon.
good.
Yeah.
Atlanta,
They're having
Philadelphia,
yeah, where it's hot.
where my sister lives.
Actually, in Atlanta, they're having the Midtown Festival, September 21st and 22nd.
Is Lil John gonna be there? Yeah, yeah.
He might, but I know Ti will be there. The Foo
What?
Fighters, Joan Jett. I know
Okay.
Dominique likes Joan Jett. So yeah, we're thinking about going there. So anybody who wants to
We
tag
need a
along,
little road trip thing
yeah,
going.
I'm feeling that like some Thelma and Louise or
All
Thelma,
right.
Louise, Tina, and Oprah.
No
Yeah.
riding dirty on 85. We'll be
we
riding clean on 85.
well or on 80,
Well, whatever runs through
whichever
the
whichever.
ATL to get us to Bankhead.
Well, once we meet up with Ti, everything will be okay.
Oh, shoot.
You already know.
We're going to have some problems.
No, we're going to have some fun.
Okay.
But yeah, so I just feel like
Tiny's not going to like to see us coming.
right. So for the last bit of this show, I think I just want to keep it positive instead of talking about the sad, depressive states. But I will bring up again, if anyone needs the number to the suicide hotline, it's 1-800-273-8255. Or in Milwaukee, it's 414-257-7222. The reason why I bring this up is that the suicide rate is still up there. People are still killing themselves, you know, and I just feel like suicide just causes more pain. So if anyone could get any type of message out of this show today, it would be that suicide is bad because it hurts more than just the person that's gone. It hurts a whole family, friends, and it just causes more pain. So I would never do that. So I would hope that the listeners and, you know, people that are depressed and, you know, I hope they don't ever give up and they could call that number and seek help.
With the rate of the, I think it's a lot of depression going on, and well, it's genuine, but I don't know if it's clinical, but just the state of the economy and, you know, different things like that. You have to find ways to uplift yourself and make yourself feel better and put yourself in a better mood. I know a lot of people.
Worry about money,
A lot of
finances.
people are unemployed. They
Mhm.
are getting cut off unemployment, and you know it's a big issue. But you have to find something, even if it's something small, may not cost a lot of money, if any money at all, to do something for yourself to
And they
lift
could
your
join.
spirit and
They
your
can
mood.
join the Milwaukee Time Exchange.
Yeah, the Milwaukee Time Exchange. What's that? MilwaukeeTimeExchange.org.
.org. I think the number is 305-9505. And it's Debbie
You
Davis.
can definitely Google it. They have a site.
Yeah, I want to get as many people involved in this because it's bartering. Um, it's an even trade, and I believe that people who are good people out there who you know might not have a job but they need services done, they could sign up for the Milwaukee area time exchange, and I guarantee you they'll get taken care of.
For those that don't know, the Milwaukee Time Exchange is a organization. It's a nonprofit organization in Milwaukee, and basically you offer your services in exchange for services. So, Ingrid, I'm going to come over and I'm going to do 4 hours of cleaning your yard and your house,
Hmm.
and then you're going to come over and give me 2 2-hour massages. Or
Wow.
something.
Hey, that's a deal.
Just yeah, services for services, no money needed. If you have something that you do well, or something that you can help, even if it's like helping elderly people go to the store and things like that.
Crocheting, knitting, childcare. It was car repair.
Yep.
Um, Hairstylist,
There was some counseling and stuff even.
aerobics, so like personal trainers. So just imagine if I know this one girl that I grew up with. She works out all the time. Just imagine she could get a free personal trainer if she had a trade of teaching someone else how to crochet. And she taught, a 2 hour class on crocheting, then she'll get a trade off for 2 hours of a personal trainer. You can't beat that.
Right. And even if you feel like you don't have a special talent, it may not be special to you, but there's somebody that can't do that, whatever it may be. And so um, don't just think that you don't have anything that you
A
do that's
skill.
not right, a
Right.
skill. That's how I want to say that. Because you even spending time with an elderly person and helping them grocery shop would be worth, valuable time for you to have someone come to your house and rake your yard. So everything
It'll
is
it'll all even out.
pretty much. And just imagine a world where you didn't have to spend money on everything. I could cook for you, or I could type for you, or I could clean your house, or
With no money involved.
right.
I
Just
believe this concept is genius. So that's why I'm promoting it. It's 305-9505, or you can check it out online at the Milwaukee Time
exchange.
Exchange.org.
Just Google it. I think it's MKE. But if you Google or Bing, you can't go wrong. Milwaukee Time Exchange.
Yep. Shout out to Gracie for being on my first show with that topic. If anybody's interested, you can email me at Ingrid's Inspirational Hour at riverwestradio.com.
Can we do a recap? Do we have time?
Sure, of course.
Okay.
Okay, so we were talking about how 60 to 70% of those with depression also have anxiety. Um, Anxiety is considered to be a normal reaction to stress, but once it takes over and becomes excessive, then that's when it's considered a disorder. Um, Also, I feel like there's a lot of people out there that try to take care of this on their own. And my suggestion would be, if it's affecting your life, where you can't go to the store, where, you're just so teary that you can't do the things that you normally would, then that's when I would say that you need to get help.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how do you know when it's too excessive?
Well,
Like,
that's why I was given the the components of this. That's why I was talking about, panic attack. You hear panic attack, but you're like, what is it?
right,
So that's why I said you're irritable, you're edgy. Also, I would get anxious before leaving, or before going to a performance, or before going to, this is just an example, but before going to Summerfest. You know, if you see somebody, they're just like stalling, they don't want to leave the house. I'm really good at this because I just feel, I don't know why I feel that anxiety to leave at some point. But that's basically having a panic attack, you know. And maybe there's people out there that don't know the symptoms. That's why I was talking about you're trembling, you're irritable, you know. A situation can bring on the panic attack, like, you know, what happened to me in Boston triggered the panic
Is
attack.
that when you decided that you were going to seek counseling for your panic attacks?
No, actually that was already a year into counseling and I still get panic attacks.
So, what happened when you decided that you needed to get the counseling for your depression and anxiety?
I was so sad all
Oh,
the
and that's
time.
when you
Yeah.
said that you were calling and you feel like you
Yeah.
didn't get
I was
support.
suicidal and yeah, that's when I said, you know what? I don't want to die. You know, I don't want to take my own life. So, yeah, this is when you need to get help when you're just like you just feel like nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody would care if you're dead. You know, and that's what a depressed, sick mind is thinking, you know.
The world wouldn't be the same without you. You are
Well,
too. I don't know. Some of you guys don't know Ingrid. Some of you do. But, being with her is just like a big ray of sunshine. And so she
that's
won't
my
let you
job.
be sad.
That's my job.
And it's hard for me to see her and think of her being that sad.
But I
And
was.
so,
I wanted to die last year, and I don't think a lot of people know that. You know, I was very close to killing myself. You know, that's why this topic is being brought up, not just to, you know, and I'm saying I'm a happy person. 90% of the time, I'm usually in a
99.9% of the time.
well, you know, so if I feel that way, could you imagine? You know, how many other people are out there feeling, you know, suicidal, depressed. And then, you know, with the media, it just seems like when someone kills himself, it's not like a big deal. It's just like, oh, Don Cornelius, oh, he shot himself. Big deal. It is a big deal because now his family has that wave of suicide
To
all
me,
through it.
anytime I hear that, the first thing I think of is mental health issues.
Hmm.
Um, or I've seen a lot of people that go through financial issues and then they do the suicide, but sometimes you have to wonder too that include mental health issues, as well with the financial issues. So
Hmm. Yeah, and I would say the least of one's worries should be about money, you know. And
that's easy for you to say.
I knew you were going to say that, but when there's things like the Milwaukee
Time.
area time exchange,
I'm gonna say this: Milwaukee area time exchange is a great. I was thinking of a particular incident. I won't say. I'll just say the Indians down under the canal. And I heard about somebody sitting in their parking lot and in their life. And, we're talking after losing a house and so many thousands of dollars. But I mean, that alone with maybe it could have been a combination of mental health with that,
hmm
you know, and it just made it just that much worse. But that's when I first hear that it's not oh, well, he just he punked out or whatever. I usually think mental health issues right away.
right.
But that's how my mind works. I don't know.
Well, it might just be the case. You never know. Because so many people are undiagnosed with.
And so many people are diagnosed and taking medication when they don't need to be either. It's kind of, yeah.
You know, I have a young friend, and she takes probably 10 pills minimum a day. And I can only imagine what that would do to your.
For what?
For antipsychotic drugs.
It
And,
seemed like she would be in a stoic kind of state.
well, I don't know how it affects her on the daily, but I feel like it doesn't help as much. You know, and that's just my opinion. I've known her for about 10 years. So I'm not an advocate for medication. So I don't want to, you know, deter somebody who's taking it because it might work for them. But
Right.
but I feel like your kidneys are going to fail after a while, you know, your liver, whatever it takes, all those impurities that are in these pills.
I think, because I've heard both ways where it really helps somebody and other ways, other times when it didn't help so much.
Hmm.
So I don't know.
Right. And how do you know?
You don't.
Yeah. So,
But I've heard people say that we're on some of the psych meds that they stopped taking them because they felt like, I'm going to quote somebody, a zombie.
wow. They felt like a zombie on
Yeah. And so just for a young girl, maybe a 13, 14-year-old girl to be full of that much medication and going to middle school and all the activities that a teenager is supposed to be doing, are they slowing her down? Or she kind of, oh, like a zombie, for
Wow.
lack of better words.
Wow.
I don't know.
Yeah, see, I don't have any experience with that, but I just didn't want to go that route. And also, I heard that acupuncture works really well with depression.
Needles. Now we doing needles and electrocution. Oh my.
Now, I wouldn't, I have had acupuncture, and it doesn't hurt. The needles are so small.
Okay.
Um,
I didn't really think it did.
it,
People
it's
are just
less,
laying there too calm for it to really be
yeah,
hurting.
it's less than a pinch.
Okay.
So I was actually surprised. I had one right dead smack in the middle of my forehead, and the lady put it in and she tapped it and pulled out the little protective sleeve, and I was like crossing my eyes looking at this needle, and I'm like, oh, okay.
How did you feel after the acupuncture session?
I felt relaxed.
And they put them in your forehead and where else?
My forehead, my face, my shoulders, the tops of my feet. Acupuncture has been around for 3,000 years.
It's an Asian
Chinese
Oriental.
medicine, yeah.
Right.
So I would say that, if somebody's out there and they want to take care of it themselves, maybe they can, look into Chinese medicine or some type of holistic.
Acupuncturist.
Right.
Milwaukee Time Exchange.
Hey, that for free. How about that? Give free
All this good free stuff.
Yeah. I really want
I have to get in my
involved in
application.
this.
Remind me too. I want to do an application, and my mom actually wants one too.
Okay, so
We're interested in.
I'll tell Gracie, but you can also go online and do it.
My mother's not going to go online and do her application. I will. She will
and
not.
I have about 2 or 3 applications at home, and that's when I found out that I do have skills to offer. For going through this list, there's about 50 different things on there. At least 50. So
you're talking pedicures, hair, lawn, automotive help washing cars, help walking dogs.
Personal trainer, that's the one I'm going for. And to learn Italian. Yes.
I was going to say ole, but not this time.
See,
I have a habit of saying ole. Anytime we have margaritas or tacos, I just say ole. So,
well, say it.
ole.
Okay, because
we had nachos earlier.
We did have nachos. So it has to be like a Hispanic thing, like beans and rice. You'll say ole.
Of course. Sí. Sí, señorita.
Those rainbow margaritas we had.
Ole.
Those were great.
Oh, yay.
So everyone will meet us at the Dominion Gallery. We're going to be there for my first show. It's 804 East Wright Street. So I thank everyone and have a great night.
Signing off, Ingrid's Inspirational Hour. Have a good weekend.